Written more than 2,500 years ago, The Art of War is the oldest military book still kept in China. After that, people wrote around 3,000 other military books in China's history. Still, none of these books can take its place as the most important military book of all time. This book only has about 6,000 Chinese words, yet it carries extremely deep wisdom. All ancient military leaders in every Chinese dynasty had to read it. Its basic ideas have also spread to many modern areas, such as business competition, company management, and world politics. Over thousands of years, this classic book has become a big part of Chinese culture and changed how every Chinese person thinks. If you want useful life lessons, an advantage at work, a good understanding of Chinese culture, Chinese people, and China's government, you should not skip this video. We will go over every small detail in this video and explain the real original meaning of the art of war with fair and objective views. War is a major matter for every country. We must study and take it very seriously. It decides whether our country and people live or die. Sun Tzu. This passage talks about 3 key points. First, every country needs to focus on major matter. You cannot try to handle everything at once. Second, you cannot have too many major matter because people only have limited energy. The same rule applies to a country, a team, or an individual. Don't pile on too many major matter. Third, we need major matter, but only a small number of them. So what should count as the most important thing? For rulers, military affairs that determine survival must be their top focus. All other work can be handed over to administrators. Figure out which tasks are important and which are not, which need to be done immediately and which can wait. Then manage them at different levels. This is a core idea in modern management. Over 2,500 years ago, Sun Tzu already explained how to get things done. First, figure out the major matters you have to pay close attention to. So we look at the two sides' pre-war situations from 5 areas and make careful comparisons to learn the real truth. This brings us the second method. You need to know yourself, but more importantly, you must understand your enemy. Analyze through comparison to narrow gaps and keep your advantages. What exactly are these 5 areas? The word Tao has many different meanings in ancient Chinese books. We usually have to read the whole text to fully grasp its exact meaning. Many translations name it the moral law. Based on the following text, Tao means winning people's recognition and loyalty to their ruler. It makes soldiers willing to risk their lives for their ruler. In this context, Tao refers to politics, whether the war has the backing of soldiers and ordinary people. If the people fully support the cause, the whole army and the whole nation will work together as one. In that case, winning the war becomes much easier. This tells us we must pay attention to people's attitudes. When outside forces invade a region, local residents will want to fight back. The stronger this urge to resist grows, the more armed groups will rise up. A leader's power comes entirely from the people who stand behind them. If a group wants to voice its political views, anyone who speaks up for them will become a top social media star. Understanding what ordinary people truly think lets us spot chances to grow stronger. Spreading your ideas so every member of your team shares the same mindset is another necessary way to unlock your group's full potential. Can you leverage the will of the people? We should not translate Tian as heaven. Here it refers to climate, day and night, cold and heat, and the shift of 4 seasons. In ancient times, wars were fought with cold weapons. Weather conditions made a huge difference to battles. Even modern armies still have staff who watch and forecast the weather. Weather changes all the time. We can only learn about the natural environment instead of changing it by force. If you fully understand objective surroundings, you can take advantage of them and raise your chances of winning. This stands for terrain. Weather plays a big part in wars, and terrain matters just as much. Sun Tzu paid great attention to the good and bad sides of land and how to use terrain properly. Sun Tzu divided land conditions into different types, whether the battlefield is far or near, high or low, easy to enter or hard to get out of once you go in. All battles happen on certain land, and each kind of land calls for different fighting ways. Fighting in mountains, rainforests, deserts, and polar areas all needs different methods. Terrain can greatly change the power balance between two sides. Just look through history books. How many armies lost because of Russia's freezing cold weather? Jiang. This refers to military generals. Sun Tzu states that top military leaders must have 5 key qualities: wisdom, sincerity, kindness, courage, and strictness. Wisdom ranks first among all qualities for military generals. Wisdom means understanding real situations and having the ability to solve problems. Military generals need to be wiser than soldiers. However, senior generals lead armies into battles, and one person's wisdom has limits. How can you make the most of the whole team's combined wisdom? There was a famous ruler in ancient China named Li Shimin. A well-known story about him is called Fang Mo Du Duan. It shows Li Shimin had great wisdom in hiring the right people. He trusted 2 important ministers, Fang Xuanling and Du Ruhui. Fang Xuanling came up with plenty of ideas and analyzed matters thoroughly, yet he hesitated when it was time to make choices. Du Ruhui did not examine small details, but he dared to make firm decisions. When working out national policies, Li Shimin would first discuss ideas with Fang Xuanling. Then he shared those ideas with Du Ruhui for his opinion. Du Ruhui could always point out each plan's strengths and weaknesses. Li Shimin combined both men's views to make policies, which brought a long period of peace and prosperity. This story tells us that matching team members properly is extremely important. Perfect subordinates are rare. Most talented people have special strengths as well as clear weaknesses. Whether you can put these people together to form an all-round team depends entirely on the ability of their leader. Sincerity. There is a well-known Chinese idiom, "Peach and plum trees speak not, yet paths form beneath them." It means peach and plum trees never utter a word, but their blossoms and fruits draw crowds. People rush over to admire the flowers and pick fruits, and over time, a path naturally takes shape under the trees. This metaphor describes people who are sincere and truthful. They will naturally carry powerful inspirational influence. A team leader must first be strict with themselves and set an example to earn respect from their staff. Imagine a leader telling everyone to work hard seriously, yet goes off on vacation themselves. Or a leader ordering subordinates to stay away from graft and corruption while secretly taking huge bribes for themselves. Would anyone faithfully carry out such a leader's orders? Kindness. It stands for the bond between people, also known as empathy. Wu Qi was a great ancient Chinese military strategist, often mentioned alongside Sun Tzu. There is a well-known short story about him. One day, Wu Qi noticed a soldier suffering terribly, grimacing in pain and unable to sleep at night. He hurried over to ask what was wrong. When he lifted the soldier's uniform, he found a huge abscess on the man's back. Wu Qi knelt down at once and told others to bring a knife. He cut open the abscess, then sucked out the pus with his mouth, spitting it out bite by bite. The wound was filthy and stinking, yet Wu Qi kept going until all the pus was cleared. This incident spread quickly and stirred a huge reaction. When the soldier's mother heard the news, she burst into bitter tears. People asked her, "Why are you crying? Your son is cared for by the general. You should be happy." The mother replied, "My husband once had the same abscess. His general sucked the pus for him too. Out of immense gratitude, my husband charged to the front lines in every battle and died on the battlefield. Now I fear my son will meet the same fate as his father." What soldiers fear most is not death itself, but being overlooked and sacrificing their lives for nothing. If a general treats his troops with the same care he gives his own children, the soldiers will wholeheartedly carry out every order from their leader. Courage. There is a classic ancient Chinese idiom. Every bush and tree looks like an enemy soldier. Fujian, the ruler of former Qin, led hundreds of thousands of troops to fight a decisive battle against Eastern Jin's 80,000 soldiers. Yet Fujian suffered setbacks in earlier clashes and lost several top generals, which shattered his confidence. When he gazed toward the enemy camp across the river, he saw thick trees covering the hills. As the wind blew, the swaying plants looked like countless warriors holding weapons. Fujian was filled with panic. He turned to his younger brother and said, "Look at how many soldiers they have. How can anyone claim their army is weaker than ours?" His fear spread to every man in his army. Later, Eastern Jin proposed that both sides retreat to clear open ground for a full-scale decisive fight. But the moment Fujian's massive army began moving back, troops at the rear mistook the retreat for a defeat. Soldiers fled in all directions, and the hundreds of thousands of men completely fell apart. Fujian escaped back to the north wounded. From a modern perspective, Fujian failed badly at controlling fear. It is natural to feel nervous and frightened when facing danger. But an outstanding leader must master their own fear and never let it cloud their judgment. Strictness. It means maintaining strict military discipline. Sun Tzu himself was a commander who governed troops with rigorous rules. As told in the well-known story of Sun Wu training troops, he executed the king's concubines who refused to follow military orders. Order and discipline are undeniably vital to an army, yet generals must also uphold kindness. Kindness and strictness do not contradict each other. Instead, they complement one another. An outstanding general embodies both qualities at the same time. These are the 5 core qualities Sun Tzu emphasized. What lessons can we draw from them? Fa. It covers military formation, the rules for managing officers and soldiers, and the control of military provisions. Among all these, military discipline carries extraordinary weight. In Chinese history, there existed evil armies in ancient China that ate people to solve supply shortages. After seizing each city, these evil armies robbed civilians of their possessions, assaulted women, and chained local people to use them as food for the march. But the local people they killed without care still had power. This power showed itself in many ways. One big result was destroying the evil army's reputation. Cities yet to be conquered would refuse to surrender and fight to the last soldier and civilian. As a result, these evil armies vanished rapidly from history. The Chinese People's Liberation Army is completely different. The PLA enforces strict internal daily regulations. Quilts must be folded into uniform squares, towels folded square and placed on top of quilts, and all toothbrushes aligned, pointing the same direction. Many people think these small rules are useless, but how well an army fights mostly depends on whether soldiers follow every order right away. Following all orders without delay is a key military idea. Inside army rooms, all personal things are lined up neatly, which looks very orderly. Every soldier can clearly feel how each person connects to the whole group. All these small rules help soldiers obey orders fully. The PLA also has a basic rule. Never take anything from common people, not even a tiny needle or thread. Once, a PLA unit set up camp overnight in a mountain village. Villagers fled their homes upon hearing troops were approaching. During their rest, soldiers ate half a jar of pickled vegetables, several green onions, and burned some firewood. Before leaving, they left a written note on the wooden door alongside 6 shang of soybeans as payment. When villagers returned, they found spotlessly cleaned yards, full water vats, and the message left by the troops. Deeply touched, they donated the door to a museum for permanent display. In its early days, the PLA remained weak for a long time and was repeatedly forced to retreat and move across the land. The powerful Kuomintang army possessed far more troops, broader recruitment access, higher pay, and even forced civilians into military service. Still, the PLA's sterling reputation won tremendous public support. As soon as villagers heard PLA troops were nearby, They volunteered to enlist and delivered grain voluntarily. This rigorous military discipline was the key secret behind the PLA's victory against overwhelming odds. Is it a good idea to run an army like a luxury brand? A general must fully understand all 5 aspects mentioned above. Therefore, we compare 7 conditions of both sides to grasp the overall war situation. Which ruler wins the support of the people? Which side's general possesses greater ability? Who has the advantage of favorable weather and terrain? Which side has stronger soldiers? Which side's troops are well trained? Whose laws and orders are fully carried out? Which side delivers fair and strict rewards and punishments? By analyzing these factors, we can judge which side will win and which will lose.